and say hi.
Okay, good morning, everybody, on this Friday morning in New Jersey. It is the 9th of April. Cannot believe that we're already a week into April. It's a cloudy day, but there's lots of sunshine in the room, right, people?
Right.
Right.
Al, why don't you start us off?
Sure, let's go. Everybody stay seated. Grab your coffee.
All right, for anybody who's new in the room, Al used to ring that bell when we were in person at the All Seasons Diner every week, and we were very good. As soon as we heard the bell, everyone got their seats, quieted down, and the meeting could begin. So thank you, Al, for keeping the tradition going here on Zoomland. I'm very excited to introduce our speaker today. Ed Thomas is the president of AUSA, and he's going to tell us all the fantastic things that AUSA is doing for our veterans. So Ed, take it away.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's see. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So first of all, a couple of thank yous. Thanks to the Monmouth Regional Chamber of Commerce again for agreeing to support us with some of the proceeds from the golf outing this spring. That's just really a terrific gesture on your part, and we really appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity to speak today. Kit Roche, our Vice President for Programs, and Ellie Smith, our Secretary, are on the line. I know why they're on the line. They're going to be rating my presentation this morning. But sometimes Jackie Berman is on in our meetings, and she handles our social media. And Sean Keating, who is on many times, he's our treasurer. So we're usually well represented at these weekly Perk sessions. Okay, so one of the things AUSA, the Association for the United States Army, one of the things that AUSA does is inform and educate. And so I just wanted to spend a couple of minutes telling you a little bit about the Army, some high-level factoids, if you will, that you might not know or be aware of. So first of all, where does the Army fit in? What is its role? You might know the military chain of command at the top level is pretty direct. It goes right from the president to the Secretary of Defense, right to the regional combatant commanders, who are 4-star general officers, either Air Force or Army generals or Navy admirals, who have an area of responsibility in the world and put together joint forces from all of the services to conduct their mission. And so, as you would expect, the Army is the primary land component of those forces, and we as an Army provide forces to those regional combatant commanders and become part of their joint force. The total Army is comprised of about 1 million officers, non-commissioned officers, soldiers, about 1 million. And about half of that, about 500,000, are active Army. The other half are in the reserve components, about 200,000 in the Army Reserves, and about 300,000 in various National Guard units. Soldiers are currently deployed in 140 countries around the world, including about 30,000 in the Middle East and Afghanistan, about 17,000 in South Korea, and about 40,000 in Europe and Africa, among all of those other, in addition to all those 140 countries. A little bit closer to home, in New Jersey, I'm not going to go through all of the military units that are stationed in New Jersey, but hit a couple of highlights. First of all, you may hear now and then of Picatinny Arsenal up in Dover, New Jersey, in northern part of the state. Not many soldiers on that installation, because that's mainly a civilian research and development community that does technology research and development for the Army in the areas of armaments and munitions, state-of-the-art armament and munitions. But as far as soldier-focused things, down at the Joint Base of McGuire and Fort Dix and Lakehurst Naval Center. We have the 99th Readiness Division, a reserve unit, a division who's responsible for garrison support, which is kind of like, housekeeping, maintaining vehicles and equipment, providing training support, providing soldier support and family support to 44,000 soldiers across the Northeast region from Maine to Virginia. And again, they're located right at Fort Dix. Also there, we have the 404th Civil Affairs Battalion Airborne, another reserve unit, who conducts civil affairs, which really means kind of working with the civilian populations in foreign countries, or trying to shape the civilian environment in areas where we're trying to gain an advantage. And they use psychological operations sometimes and other techniques to kind of get the local populace more on our side. Real close to here, the 254th Regiment, a National Guard unit, is at Seagirt, and they provide training for infantry soldiers, for combat medics, and they also provide training in how to maintain certain equipment. The 77th Sustainment Brigade, a reserve unit, also at Dix, provides logistics support to combat units, and they recently deployed actually to Camp Arifjan in Kuwait. And then lastly, I just wanted to highlight the Mid-Atlantic Recruiting Battalion, because recruiting is so important to our Army. They're located at Lakehurst, and they cover recruiting in the New Jersey and Eastern Pennsylvania area. So, as I said, there's soldiers all over the world deployed, and the operational tempo is very high. The stress levels are high, and it continues to be a challenge for the Army to retain good soldiers and recruit new ones. And here's something you may not know. To keep the ranks filled, the Army needs to recruit about 50 to 60,000 new soldiers each year. And it's a big challenge for a couple of reasons. One is that the target population for new recruits is between the ages of 17 and 24. Only 29% of Americans in that age group are even eligible to serve, because the rest are disqualified for things like obesity, medical issues, drug use, lack of education, criminal records, etc. So the Army's down to only 29% of the population between 17 and 24 to try to fill their ranks. And to make it a little bit harder, for example, in a recent survey, it was found that 50% of American youth know little or nothing about military service. So the Army it has their backs up against the wall to try to meet those recruiting challenges each year. Can I say that part? Because part of that is what AUSA does. We're the Monmouth chapter. We are part of a much larger international organization, the Association of U.S. Army, that has many chapters worldwide and over 150,000 members. The headquarters is down in Virginia. Our CEO is a retired 4-star general who used to be one of those combatant commanders, General Carter Ham. We support the total Army, active, reserve, National Guard, civilians. The Army has a lot of civilians work and contractors working for them, as well as family members and veterans. And they try to educate, we try to educate and inform. We have programs to try to educate American youth on the value of service, to educate communities, work with community leaders and teachers and administrators to talk about the fact that Army service is a worthy choice for young men and women. We provide professional education for soldiers, for Army civilians, and for our chapter memberships to keep them abreast of current Army initiatives and priorities and challenges. We're a voice for the Army that seeks to assure that the political leadership throughout the country understands the Army, understands its challenges, and understands its needs. We provide support to soldiers and their families through various scholarship programs, recognition programs, financial aid programs, and we honor those who have served with recognition programs and by being a voice for their needs with the leadership. Again, closer to home, AUSA Monmouth, our Monmouth chapter, we strive to perform that AUSA mission at the local level. We have a little over 300 individual members and about 95 corporate partners as part of our chapter today. And we support soldiers and family members. You've heard me talk briefly each week about the Fisher House Foundation that we support. Fisher House keeping loved ones together during medical care. So when soldiers have been injured or have severe illness and they are in one of the military hospitals recuperating, the Fisher House Foundation takes care of getting their family members or loved ones close by to that particular military hospital so that they can help and support that soldier in his recuperation and recovery. So the foundation has built 91, so for 91 and counting, 91 homes, dormitories that are in operation on or near military hospitals and installations worldwide. You have 91 houses in operation. They've served over 413,000 families. 10 million days of lodging they provided free, which has saved those family members over $500 million to date. And we support them. One of our big events of the year, our Gingerbread Ball, is a formal charity ball in the holiday season. And the last time we had it, which was 2019, because this past year pandemic interrupted things, but we were able to raise about $65,000 or $70,000 for that charity, the foundation. And you know, our history goes way back to Fort Monmouth, so for many years. And over the years, I don't know exactly, but it's got to be over $2 million already that we've provided to that foundation. We support veterans, especially through our service dog initiative that you've heard me talk about, where we identify a Monmouth County veteran who might have a PTSD or some other medical issue that's impacting his quality of life, his or her quality of life, and where we feel a service dog would be able to help improve that veteran's quality of life. We acquire a puppy through a local breeder that we work with. That dog ultimately gets trained as a service dog. We match him up with a veteran who is selected after an interview process, and they go through joint training together. And then once they graduate, we turn the dog over to that vet. We provide them an insurance policy for the first year, pet insurance for the first year, and then they're off and going together for the future. That's a pretty expensive operation. It costs us between $15,000 and $25,000 to pair up one service dog with one veteran. And at this point, given our resources, we're able to do one per year. We support the future through our junior ROTC scholarship program and recognition program. And I don't know if you're familiar with the junior ROTC program, but it's federally recognized. It teaches youth the values of citizenship, of service to the United States, and personal responsibility. It strives to motivate young people to be better citizens, something that I think we can agree is important in this day and age. But anyway, we support them through our scholarship program, and part of the proceeds from the golf outing that's coming up this spring, we're going to be able to direct in that direction as well. So again, thank you for that. So how can you get involved? We have individual memberships which provide benefits. There are different companies that provide benefits and discounts to our members. It's an opportunity to network and get involved. There's a lot of great information, publications, and other things that AUSA puts out. The Army Magazine, which comes out monthly, has great articles about what's happening in our Army, new technology developments, new organizational constructs. The Army Green Book, which gives you an in-depth look at the entire Army and all of its major organizations and divisions. They also have a lot of educational programs, the so-called noon report season, the so-called thought leader series. These are webinars that are free to members and gives you a lot of information about our Army and what its priorities, its challenges, its future looks like. And certainly we have community partnerships, and some of you online are already community partners with us, but it could be a large business, large corporation, small corporation, a community group. It's an opportunity to demonstrate to the community that you support soldiers and their families. We try to give you meaningful recognition for being a partner, meaningful recognition and low-cost advertising on our website and Facebook pages, et cetera. And also that same Army information and discounts are available, and the prices are very reasonable, I would think. In any event, that's my pitch for today. And again, I appreciate the time that you've afforded me this morning. And if anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them or defer to Kit or Ellie or Jackie.
Thank you so much, Ed. I have to tell you that in-depth explanation about everything. I had no idea that you did all of that work, and to hear about the explanation on the Army itself. Thank you so much for sharing all that. That's priceless. So anybody have any questions for Ed today?
Yes, this is Chris Ann. Thank you so much for everything you imparted to us today. Can you tell us, as far as the eligibility and the need for the service dogs, what kind of a waiting list is there? Or is it contracted, or is it expanding? Maybe if you could just tell us a little bit about that, Ed.
Sure, and sure, and I'll let Kit amplify. But so our service dog initiative is a local initiative by our chapter. There are several service dog initiatives in other parts of the country, and some of them do have. There certainly is much more of a need than can currently be handled. So there are waiting lists. In our particular case, however, we don't work that way. We work with the Veterans Office at Monmouth University, and that guy identifies some candidates for us, who we then interview and make a selection, because we know we can only, right now, given our resources, we can only do one per year. So we really don't maintain a waiting list. We just go about this each year, go through a selection process to identify a veteran. But there certainly is a greater need.
Thank you so much.
Ellie and Kit, is there anything you guys you ladies, I'm sorry, would like to say, since you're so heavily involved and on the board?
I would just like to say that the Service Dog Initiative is one from the heart. Our candidate today is actually an Air Force veteran, and he is so grateful to be receiving a dog and hopes to resume somewhat of a life. I'll let Ellie go into a little bit more in details about our candidate as she sees fit, because as our registered nurse on the board, she's very cognizant of all the HIPAA regulations, et cetera, et cetera. So Ellie, I'll let you take that away.
Audio, your audio.
Hard to keep me quiet. We're so lucky to have had our candidate, our Air Force airman, referred to us through Monmouth University. He's a wonderful guy. He's working hard to pull his life together. He had some pretty serious, heavy duty responsibilities during his active duty tenure. Harrowing. I think I can just leave it at they were harrowing. He came home to us to Monmouth County with carrying a lot of baggage and a lot of stress. He has struggled to maintain a fruitful life. He wants to have a fruitful life. He teaches drums and he plays in a band. But I think the thing that broke my heart, you know, we do serious vetting to make sure that these individuals that we've been able to give a dog to are ready. They're at a point in their recovery that they're ready to have a dog and that the need is truly there. But I think the thing that personally broke my heart was he asked if the dog could help remind him to eat. Oh. Because he kept forgetting to eat and he would go long periods of time without eating anything. So that just gives you a tiny little window into probably a fraction of the struggles, you know, that he was experiencing. When we were able to select him, we were thrilled, and so was he. And he managed to get, we told him that, you know, one of the requirements is a fenced in yard, and he managed to do that. He didn't want us to have, and we offered to do that. I mean, you know, as part of that's why our budget is a little fluid, because some people need a little more help than others in terms of some of the physical property things that have to be accomplished. But he managed to get his yard completely fenced in, and because he was so highly motivated to get a dog. So we're very lucky to have met him. We're very lucky to be working with him, and we're thrilled, you know, that he's making progress. The puppies were just born, right, Kit, last month. Mm-hmm. So right now the litter of puppies is growing. They'll have their first, you know, they've been to the vet, but they'll have an official complete vet visit. And at that time, our trainer from Hanlon Canine will work with them to choose the puppy that he thinks will pair well with our airmen. So it's a long process and it's quite detailed, and but very rewarding.
Yeah. They're looking for an outgoing puppy who can withstand noise and, you know, it is very confident. Not every puppy fits that bill, so he'll review the litter and select the right one.
Well, thank you so much for all the work you are all doing.
Could I just, Therese, it's Jackie.
Hi, Jackie. Yes.
I just want to add one thing. I am on their board also. And I just wanted to mention to everybody, if anybody has a graduating senior this year, AUSA National has a scholarship. Look up ausa.org for the requirements and the essay to get in there, but you do have to become a member of AUSA. So we welcome you to become a member of our chapter and apply for the scholarship.
Oh, very good. Thank you for sharing that, Jackie.
Welcome.
I also want to say timing is really funny, because yesterday I was talking to Captain Vincent Mancinelli. He's a U.S. Army recruiter, and there are 2 recruiting offices in Monmouth County, one in Freehold, one in Tinton Falls, and they're looking to join the chamber. So this was perfect timing, and I'm very excited about that. So that's good stuff coming down the road. Anybody have any questions before we start our commercials? Oh, I do want to say one thing. Actually, Bonnie, can you talk about the golf outing and what we'll be doing to support AUSA, please?
Thank you for a wonderful presentation. I actually have 3 members of the committee, Erika Boyer, Craig Portis, and Aaron Dubon on the Zoom this morning. And this has become a labor of love to honor Colonel Sam and to be behind you as the new president and give you the total support of the chamber. It's going to be June 16th, of course, at Bella Vista, and it's an 18-hole event. And we're just very excited about it. And we spent a lot of time and a lot of work on it, and just to help support you. So thank you, Therese, for your support, and Tamer and Joanne Colella, because she does all our editing and makes the words work. So we're looking forward to our event, and we will see you there. Thank you.
Excellent. So for those of you that don't know, so our golf outing is in honor of Colonel Sam Fuoco, who was the previous president of AUSA. And we were very sad last year he passed away from COVID. And we haven't really gotten together in person since then. So we could think of no other way to bring everyone together than doing this golf outing in his honor. So thank you to everyone who's supporting us with that. And by communicating with Ed and Ellie and Kit, we asked them we would like to donate some of our net proceeds to AUSA. And which initiative would they like us to donate to? And they said the Junior ROTC Scholarship. And we're going to donate that money in Colonel Sam's name. So
Has registration been posted yet?
yes, registration is now open.
Okay,
So
that's what I
anybody
wanted
can
to-
go on our website to June 16th on our calendar and register for the event. You can register, you can be a sponsor at various levels that include foursomes. There are sponsorships that don't include golf. You can also attend. We're doing a awards reception at 5 o'clock. It's going to be a cocktail few hours. And so come and celebrate with us if you're available on that day, and we hope you all are. So thank you very much. So last chance for questions before we go around the room. Anybody? Okay. Well, thank you so much, Ed, for that presentation. It was wonderful. And thank you all for being here from AUSA. Appreciate that too. Oh, I also want to thank our sponsor, Center State Healthcare System. They're always supporting us in a huge way, and they support most of our perks as sponsors. So thank you to Center State.